I don't look at it as criticism. I look at it as constructive, healthy criticism. As long as it's not nasty, I'm good with it.
People saying it's a very mardani आवाज है, whatever. Like I'm saying, I've seen we were the change in the industry. We were not the industry.
So वो दलदल की तरह होता है कि जितना आप सोचते जाते हो, it'll keep reeling you in.
Like, you know, every artist has faced their own set of criticisms. Every artist has their own set of challenges. You know, how do you deal with yours? And have you had any certain very hard-hitting ones, and you kind of had to deal with it in a different manner?
I mean, I felt like a reject for most of my career. To be honest, you know, I used to always feel like I've given a hit in every industry. I've proved my worth, and yet I used to always feel like it's never enough. And I always felt like I was no one's favorite. You know, I was not everyone's go-to. I had a different voice, a different personality, a different approach, and it was very difficult to find my place for the longest time. And I've had to adapt through genres, find myself in the Indian scenario. You know, like I'm saying today, आप बोल रहे हो कि आज Gen Z accept कर रहा है, you know, they're accepting synth-pop music. Who's accepting it 10 years ago? Who's accepting it? You know? No one. I mean, it's really changed today because there's a global sort of exploration that's happening today thanks to the internet. But people like us who started in 2002 and are still working, we've seen all of those phases, you know, of sort. मतलब मैं उस ज़माने में आई थी जहाँ पे thin voices were the voice of the actresses. So, you know, the thick voices didn't even exist, like, you know. So it's like that's not the voice of the heroine. So starting from there to being asked by a very famous music director of the 90s that आपको जुकाम लगा हुआ है, आपकी आवाज़ ऐसी क्यों है? वही तो मैं आपको छोटी बातें बता रही हूँ, but you know, to not having the range to sing with a male, to not having that kind of a high voice, क्योंकि सारे गाने उस रेंज में बने होते थे, तो मुझे इतनी घबराहट होती थी कि जब मैं स्टूडियो जाऊँगी मैं वो गा पाऊँगी, तो मेरी रेंज में नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा? मैं जी शार्प में गाने वाली, सारे गाने सी में बन रहे हैं, you know, so how will I do it? So till I found, like I said, my space, that Neha sings low really well, you know, to like the change in the industry. We were not the industry.
You know, I think criticism is great. I mean, तारीफ तो सब करते हैं. You know, seriously, everybody praises you. Go to a party, you go out, everybody's praising you. Who really has the guts to criticize you or tell you where you're wrong? I think for me, I take it as I look at it as learning. Like, okay, I mean, I can't always be right. I'm human after all, so I must have gone wrong somewhere. And I'd love for someone to tell me that, look, you know, like, this is not cool or this you didn't do correct. And I learned from it. So I look at it like that. I don't look at it as criticism. I look at it as constructive, healthy criticism. As long as it's not nasty, I'm good with it.
So वो दलदल की तरह होता है कि जितना आप सोचते जाते हो, it'll keep reeling you in, and the day you stop paying attention to these things that don't matter as much, you make a big deal. You decide what's a big deal and what is not. So I think life is much more simpler if you forget about दूसरा क्या चाहता है या आपसे क्या expected है. आप वो करो जो आपको खुशी देता है. And I promise you, life is way better and healthier like that. One thing was my voice. क्योंकि ये था कि अरे देखने में तो श्वेता की एज पता नहीं चलती, बट यू नो उसकी वॉइस से पता चलता है. सो दैट डाउट जो कभी, और मुझे तो मेरी आवाज़ बहुत पसंद है, तो जब ये किसी ने बोला था उस लाइक अच्छा ओके यू नो मे बी, एंड मेरे दिमाग में वो ख्याल भी आया दैट शुड आई गिव द डायरेक्टर दिस ऑप्शन कि अगर आपको डब करना हो मेरे लिए तो आप कर लेना, बिकॉज दैट टाइम जब आप ऐसा कुछ सुनते हो आप सोल्यूशन ढूंढने की कोशिश करते हो, कई बार आप हिल जाते हो, आप शॉक में होते हो. So, but then thankfully my director said कि पागल हो गई है क्या, and this was श्लोक for हरामखोर, and he said कि पागल हो गई है कि मुझे ऐसी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, and then I did that, and also my personality because I am this, and in हरामखोर I had to be a certain way. So एक दिन लुक टेस्ट था, and लुक टेस्ट से पहले there's another very nice sweet director friend who said it in the best way possible, but she said कि श्वेता तुम ना ऐसी मत जाना स्क्रीन पे, like you know be your character, and I totally agree with that. तो फिर मैं ना वो बिना समझे कि वो कह क्या रही है, मैं चुप हो गई, मैं ऐसी सहमी सी हो गई, एंड अगेन श्लोक वाज वंडरिंग कि इसको क्या हो गया है, एंड ही आस्क्ड मी, आई सेड कि नहीं यू नो वो दूसरे एक डायरेक्टर ने मुझे बोला है कि आई शुड बी मोर इन कंट्रोल, एंड ही लाइक मैं तुझे बता दूंगा तुझे जैसा भी करना होगा, प्लीज़ डोंट डू ऑल ऑफ दिस. सो देन आई रियलाइज कि लोग जो चाहे अच्छे इंटेंशन से भी बोलते हैं, बट दैट माइट नॉट बी ट्रू इन दैट सिचुएशन. सो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि डज इट फिट इन. सुनो सबकी, पर करो जो आपको सही लगता है.